This is the Barbados Today morning news for Wednesday, March 29th. Thank you for joining us. I am Marie-Claire Williams. The controversial sale of the state-owned Barbados National Terminal Company Limited to regional petrol giants Sol has been suspended following a legal challenge mounted by Rubis Caribbean. The High Court granted Rubis an interim injunction until April 3rd after the company lodged an application for a judicial review of the inclusion of the 15-year moratorium clause as part of conditions for the sale. The clause prohibits construction of another oil terminal in Barbados, as well as the granting of license for the storage of fuel and aviation fuel for commercial and industrial purposes.
Our legal counsel here in Barbados has advised us that this moratorium should not be granted because it would constitute an illegal restriction of the right which the Minister of Energy has been granted by law to decide on any such matters, right?
Okay.
And with the application, we also filed for an urgent interim injunction to restrain basically the parties in the proposed merger, which are basically Sol subsidiary and BNTCL, from including this clause in the agreement, in case the FTC approves the sale of BNTCL as submitted by them to the FTC, right?
Okay.
So the court granted us the interim injunction until April 3rd, 2017, and we will have another hearing with all the relevant parties at the court on the 30th of March 2017, and the court will then determine whether the interim injunction will be extended or discharged.
Okay. Businessman Taan Abed wants Barbadians to give Opposition Leader Mia Mottley a chance to lead the country. Abed, who fell out of favor with his party, the DLP, ahead of the 2013 general election, has switched allegiance to Mottley and the BLP. He told Barbados Today that Mottley is the only one at present with the competence and charisma to lead the country out of its current economic crisis.
Put Mia as a leader and we'll move forward. Let us call general election soon. That's what I mean. Mia, she have a great vision. She like young girls. She have the charisma to bring everything for this country because have a face in her. Leadership will matter, leadership.
Abed described Prime Minister Frundle Stewart as a decent leader, but he said he lacks the gift of charisma, unlike some within his own cabinet.
Stewart is look, he's a decent leader, but he don't have the charisma. You have to be born in it. Leadership, you have to be born in it, Mr. Clark. You have to have the capacity. Like Dunville Ennis born in it, Aswig born in it. Have the DLP has a great leader.
Restoration of the historic Sam Lord's Castle Hotel is set to begin on Friday. The work will begin 14 years after the hotel closed its doors to business and 7 years after it was destroyed by fire. CEO of the Barbados Tourism Investment Inc., Stuart Lane, told Barbados Today that work on the 450-room facility will begin on schedule. Lane says while the new property will be built to the highest international standard associated with the Wyndham brand, the remains of the castle will be retained.
The castle will remain, yes. There is not much left outside of the castle, but the castle is part of our heritage and will be protected. We are looking at a product that will sell well in the summer. Normally, hotel products in Barbados are built for the winter, and then we struggle a bit in the summer. This product is a summer product that can sell in the winter. So it has conference facilities, significant conference facilities, 20,000 square feet of conference convention space, meeting space. In other words, it will do well, we believe, in the MICE market, meetings, incentives, conferences, and events. It has a capability to facilitate 1,500 persons seated, formal dinner. It has facilities for children, so that will hit the families market.
An 88-year-old woman and her mentally challenged son were left homeless after the house in which they lived for virtually their entire lives was torn down following a court order. Edmunda Gittins of Kendall Hill, Christchurch, cried as the sound of metal tools was heard tearing down her house. She looked on as marshals executed the court order to remove the wooden structure from the lot. Gittins said she had lived there since she was 5 years old, but the landowners recently served her with notice of eviction.
really good. I feel good, see what's going on. The point is, the landlord first that died raised me. I'm 5 years old. My mother did thief, cook and wash the dead, right? She dead, but she didn't leave nothing. And her husband, I never to call his uncles, then take over everything, change up everything, and have all the land in his 6 children. Then, so not even a spot of like 2 inches again my mother. So my mother dead in 75, my father dead, my husband dead, my brother's dead, and only me and my son. Got up there, right? Live here now. The rest gone, I'm paying the mortgage. I here by myself.
Gittins is said to have 6 other children, all of whom have families and homes of their own. Chairman of the National Assistance Board, David Durant, says he hopes one of them will take their mother in.
Only a few days ago I mentioned that I hope and I wish families would really come on board. First responders and things like this when their family, especially the elderly, in these unfortunate situations. I think the sons and daughters should really come on board and see and do whatever they can to help a mother or a father, whoever is in the situation. So that's what's hurting me right now.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Get your paper. Only 225, 220. Who? For what? That's Bear Stare News. I don't read about that on Barbados Today since last night. That can't only can't do. 220. Who?
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
In news from the region, prison officers in Trinidad are blaming the state for the death of an inmate last weekend. They also say they fear for their lives as they feel ill-equipped to deal with security issues. We get more in this report from TV6 News.
If CCTV cameras and an alarm system had been installed as recommended, if there were proper safety equipment such as stab-resistant vests, then Nicholas Raymond's life may have been spared. It's a presumption from the Prison Officers Association, but it's too late to know for sure. President of the association, Saran Richards, says the problems plaguing the Golden Grove prison will continue unless the issue of security is treated with urgency.
The state, by and large, is largely responsible for the death of that inmate, because had the state implemented these measures, we would have been more effective in protecting the lives of these inmates.
Richards says prison officers are highly concerned.
They believe that their security and the security of the lives of inmates at that maximum security prison is in serious jeopardy.
But unlike many other factions of the public sector, prison officers are unable to abandon their duty as it's a potential death sentence to inmates. And Richards feels it is giving the government a license to ignore their cries for help.
Finally, on the international scene, UK Prime Minister Theresa May will today officially deliver the papers to European Council President Donald Tusk to formally begin the UK's departure from the EU. Official notice will be given under Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty. In a statement to the House of Commons, the Prime Minister will then tell MPs that this marks the moment for the country to come together. Today's move follows the referendum last June, which resulted in a vote to leave the EU. And that's news this morning. Remember, you can get more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune into Channel 99 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news. I am Marie Claire Williams. Have a good morning.